It's your boy Faithful to God. Sicarii put out 2 videos where they attempted to slander my name with false and misleading information. They also attacked a sister in the Lord by the name of Michelle. But unfortunately for the person who made the video, they didn't do a very good job at reading. And hopefully this will be a lesson in humility for them. Some of you may know that I made a video entitled How to Make a Hebrew Israelite YouTube Video, in which I used Daniela of Maccabees TV as an example of what many Hebrew Israelites attempt to do when interacting with opponents, which is to 1. Slander them with lies, 2. Refute themselves in the process, and 3. Get an echo chamber to cheerlead for them no matter how poorly they've done. Ironically enough, the dude who made the 2 slander videos against me proved that video to be absolutely correct. One of the false allegations that was hurled my way was that I somehow wasn't Puerto Rican. This despite the fact that there were multiple people who actually know me telling this person that I was indeed Puerto Rican. But nevertheless, they continue to insist that I was absolutely not Puerto Rican and that they somehow had proof. And I'm going to let you guys witness for yourselves what this so-called proof was for them.
You're not a Puerto Rican, man, and you know you're not a Puerto Rican, all right? You know that you are a white boy.
What?
All right? And we're going to show that too, man. What? Remember at the beginning of the video, when Faithful comes on and, your boy Puerto Rican, when he talks like that, you might really, you might actually believe him. Okay, maybe this is, maybe this dude is a Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying? But then when you catch him in Vocabs in his chat room, you find out this, and he types things like this that show you this guy's just a nerd, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting ready to read this, all right? So you guys can understand it. And everything that he wrote here, all of it's fake, except for the part about him at the very, very end, all right?
Are you sure about that?
So let's begin. It says, the following is a hard reality check for the, and before I go on, somebody asked Mike Perea, am I lying, if he posted this or not, all right? Or is this something I made up, you know what I'm saying? Mike has a problem, he talks too much, you know what I'm saying? He can't help himself, man. So it says, the following is a hard reality check for those of you who believe all African Americans are Israelites and put heavier weight into nationality than believing on Christ. And guess what? It's gonna hurt some of your guys' hearts too, man. The Mike Perea doesn't like African Americans, man.
And it sadly appears you have no idea what you're talking about.
We'll show that too, that Mike don't like us, man. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why, because he knows he's a damn demon, man. All right? So it says, where was I at? That put heavier weight into nationality than believing on Christ, and especially for those IUIC, ISUPK, GMS, etc., who believe that being an Israelite is a prerequisite for salvation. Keep in mind that this was only males. It says, once you factor in females, the number jumps significantly higher. Now, this is the stuff that Mike is in here typing, your boy Puerto Rican. It says, and for all our African-American male guests, there has been another astonishing fact revealed about their paternal ancestry. From where? Revealed from where, devil? It says, their father's line through their Y DNA. It says, now, he knows that you are who your father is. He knows that. He knows the Bible says that. He knows that if you can't show your father's house, you can't show that you're from the nation of Israel, all right? So he knows, that's why he's doing this, their father's father. Now, look what he's trying to put on all on the African Americans, or the so-called Negroes. It says, through their Y DNA, i.e. father's side, a whopping 35% of all African American men descend from a white male ancestor, which is what? That would make them Edomites, right? It says, who fathered a mulatto child sometime in the slavery era. It says, most probably from rape or coerced sexuality. In other words, if we tested the DNA of all black men in the NBA, for instance, just over 1/3 descend from a white second or third grandfather, right? Now, here's the point. In my own case, okay, because we're talking about Mike now, it says he was my great-great-grandfather and was most probably of Irish descent, judging from our shared Y DNA haplogroup. Now, am I making this up? This dude wrote this, all right? So he's telling you specific. This is why Mike says, oh, that faulty Esau is the white man doctrine. And then it's funny to tell people that he's an Ephraimite based on your faulty one. No, why don't you tell them the truth? You're an Edomite based on our chart, all right? Because your line goes back to Esau. And you said Irish, but we don't know if that's true because you said probably. And it's funny because you're saying 35% of all African Americans, that's madness. But we know it's 100% true for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you told us that, all right? So all you guys that was in my comment board, oh, I know his dad, I know he's not that. You need to shut up, man, before you know what's going on, man. Before you listen to what's actually happening here, all right?
How this dude didn't even see the ellipses and the quotation marks is beyond me, man. Like, how do you do this to yourself, man? All you had to do was look in the very same comment where I had the article linked, which is what I was citing, hence why I had the ellipses and the quote marks. You can see on your screen exactly how black is Black America, and the author's name is Henry Louis Gates Jr. And he was the one who had a great-grandfather who was Irish, not me. The utter folly of Sicarii members never ceases to amaze me. If this cat got this wrong, just imagine what else he's getting wrong. It should be noted that a friend of mine pointed out this mistake to the Sicarii member, at which point they claimed that they would be making an apology video to rectify their error. However, at the point of recording this video, there had yet to be anything on the very channel that produced the 2 slander videos, and in fact, one of the slander videos is still up, so go figure. The reality is that Sicarii is known for this sort of behavior. I really don't expect an apology video myself, but if one is issued, then I most certainly accept the apology, but it does not negate the fact that something underhanded was done, and this really calls into question the integrity of Sicarii. They went out on a limb to misrepresent an opponent, even when they were told by various people who know their opponent that they were absolutely wrong in what they were saying. But then this begs the question, if the same flawed line of reasoning that was employed by the dude who made the slander videos against me were to be used against the fairer-skinned members of Sicarii, do you think that the fair-skinned members of Sicarii would appreciate being misrepresented and disrespected? Well, let's try something. Let's take the very words that the dude who disrespected me used against me to falsely slander me and apply them to the members of Sicarii who are fair-skinned to show how ridiculous this actually looks.
You are a white boy. You are a white boy. You are a white boy.
The hypocrisy that Sicarii exhibits is the very same hypocrisy that I pointed out in the video where I showed my face. I find it telling that when you agree with the doctrines, you're accepted as a Latino and you're embraced and oh, you're whatever, what do they call it, Jake. But then all of a sudden, when you disagree with them, now your ethnicity is cast into doubt. Somehow you're Esau, whatever the case may be. And I've even seen this recently with IUIC, where former members are now being called conquistadors, where now they're being denigrated. So it's not just relegated to Sicarii alone. I believe that this is a problem with all the different camps. But I do think that this is truly an example of the hypocrisy that is in Hebrew Israelism.
That's right!
Started out on a journey, destined to fail. Cause you ain't understand the point like Oregon Trail. Diablo wanna convince you you're going to hell. But nah, dig Doug, you ain't taking the L. Because of Christ you were born with the extra man. Holy Spirit like Goro with extra hands. Substitutionary atonement is the escape plan.